First off, we just want to thank the Missouri State Administration, faculty, and staff, as well as the members of the Public Affairs for this opportunity to present here today. To the hundreds of students who attended our presentations, we appreciate your attendance and your feedback. For our Distinction in Public Affairs project, we wanted to create awareness of ADD and ADHD medication, which has been abused by non-prescribed users all over the nation, particularly around college campuses. In order to do so, we have created the Stop the Pop campaign. ADHD prescriptions have increased by 20% since 2007. That's how much of a growing problem this is. According to ABC News, suicide is the third leading cause of death, and of these deaths, 1 in 5 is due to prescription drug abuse. The Center for Disease Control states that the use of the drug is leading to lowering GPAs. So Adderall, it's not really for a high or a buzz, but it's for an increase in GPA. But really, because of the withdrawal and how people are getting attached, they rely on these, and it actually decreases their GPA. In February of 2005, the Canadian government suspended all sales of Adderall. 20 international reports of sudden death, heart-related death, and strokes in adults and children happened because they took Adderall off the streets. 95% of people who tried to get Adderall were able to obtain a prescription. So not only could they get it from a friend, but they were able to get their own prescription. Now, because of that, it's not only because they're passing such an easy test to get Adderall, but doctors and pharmacies get paid for every single prescription they write. So it's a win for the abuser and for the pharmacist. According to the National Institute of Health, 1 in 5 people diagnosed with ADHD as adolescents develop cocaine habits as adults. Kim will tell you more.
Okay, so Adderall is termed the new gateway drug. A gateway drug is a drug that leads abusers into using other types of drugs as well. So this graph chart here is from the Substance Abuse and Mental Health Services Administration, and the blue bar represents people who are not abusing Adderall and what kind of drugs they take and at what percentage. The red, on the other hand, is the percent and amount of drugs abused by people who are also abusing Adderall when they're not prescribed. So as you can see, the red bars, the people who are abusing Adderall have a higher percentage of abusing other drugs as well. So that's why it's termed the new gateway drug. Also, this is really dangerous because when people combine drugs, the side effects and the main effects of each of the drugs are multiplied whenever you combine them with other drugs. And this is called the additive effect, and it can be really detrimental to one's health. So these are some of the negative side effects that can happen to people when they're abusing Adderall. One of the main ones is cardiovascular disturbances, and a lot of those are increased dizziness, lightheadedness, palpitations, which is being able to actually feel your heartbeat. They have irregular heartbeats and faster heart rates also. And like I said, this is really dangerous, and it can cause fainting and put a lot of stress on the heart that usually wouldn't be there. And that's why a lot of people die from sudden cardiac death. Also, some of the behavioral problems are increased confusion, paranoia, agitation, depression, anxiety, and also they feel more violent. And as Troy was saying, long-term abuse of Adderall can actually decrease memory, which makes it harder to learn and can lead to decreasing GPAs instead of increasing ones like students would like.
So moving forward in our project this semester, our goal was ultimately to spread the word. Many students don't know the negative impacts that Adderall can have on a group or that can have on individuals when not taken properly. So we as a group wanted to come together to inform our fellow classmates and individuals here on Missouri State's campus to prevent future abuse of the drug in the future. Oops. In our effort to educate students, we held 2 presentations, one for Delta Sigma Pi, a business fraternity, and another open presentation in the library for anyone interested in learning more on the issue. These are just some photos of our educational events. We were able to reach out to hundreds of students, specifically targeting fraternity and sorority life, who encompass a large percentage of our campus. During the presentations, we shared statistics on the number of unprescribed users and also shared information on the damages and harmful effects of this drug when used non-medically. And finally, we encouraged further promotion of our awareness through our social media pages on Twitter and Facebook.
Okay, so as Tree said, we used a lot of social media to promote our cause. Okay, so this is a hands-on example of something that we used in our presentations to get feedback from the students. It's an anonymous poll feedback, and we'd ask a question, and then they would type in their response. It was typically yes or no answers, and you would get to see the number of responses show up on the screen. So right now, if I could have everyone take out your phone, and the question is, do you use a form of social media? So Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, anything like that. So what you're going to do is if it's yes, you'll type that number, so 233-465, to that code number, which is not the actual code, but like the long number up there. So that's the number you'll text it to, and you'll just take that code to that number. Does that make sense? Okay. And so as responses come in, you'll be able to see kind of like how we collected our information. It's completely anonymous, like I said. No like names were brought up or any phone numbers or anything. And it'll fluctuate as you go. Also, while using this, in our presentations, all of our questions pertain to Adderall abuse. So if the students had used Adderall or abused it, or if they were aware of it as a problem. So that's what more of our questions were geared toward, not toward social media. But this is what we're talking about right now. Okay. Wait a couple more seconds. Get those in. All right. And we have another question after this, too. So have you used social media in the past 24 hours? Go with a yes. Okay, so that's about the number we had before. So as you can see, social media is how we gain a lot of the information that we do nowadays because we do use it a lot. Okay, so to spread more awareness, obviously not everyone's going to come to our 2 presentations, so we created a Facebook page and a Twitter account for Stop the Pop. You're welcome to follow it now. We still will be posting facts, but we posted weekly or tried to bi-weekly just about Adderall abuse. We had some of the same statistics that you saw up here before on there, and so we had 218 followers on Facebook and 85 followers on Twitter. So that means that every time that I or one of my other team members put out a fact, it was available for over 300 people to see, which is really awesome because we reached over 100 kids in our presentations, but we reached over 300 via social media. Another agent we used was I created a banner, and we brought this to our presentations, and we had all the students sign it saying that they were aware of Adderall as an abuse substance. We also did 2 days in the PSU. We had a table, and we invited students to come by and sign it. We gave them candy, and we just asked them if they were aware that Adderall was an abuse substance, and if they were allowed to sign our banner. So since you guys are all here and you're hearing our presentation and you're now aware that Adderall is an abuse substance, we'd like to invite you to come down after our presentation and sign our banner. But I thought it was a really good media to show how many people we did actually get to reach.
So Missouri State has a campus-wide commitment to promoting ethical leadership, community engagement, and cultural competence within its students. The basis of this project lines up with the 3 pillars of the public affairs mission. For ethical leadership, abusing drugs poses quite a dilemma. Using Adderall alters one's mental status. Using it to get better grades could be classified as cheating. One, when posed with an ethical dilemma, should always pose questions to themselves to help make the best decisions. For this situation, you could ask yourself questions such as, would I feel guilty after taking Adderall? Do I have ADD or ADHD? Would my parents be okay with me taking this? Would my doctor be okay with me taking this? Abusing Adderall is an ethical issue, and the consequences should be considered. Where there is an unethical action, there is always an opposite ethical action. Students can look up other methods for healthy studying and stress relief. Additionally, not only is taking drugs that are not prescribed to you unethical, but it is also illegal. There are legal consequences for even being found with one pill of Adderall when you are not prescribed to it. In Missouri, it is a Class C felony, which will give you a $5,000 fine and up to a year in jail. The goal of Stop the Pop was to create awareness on this issue, but the awareness doesn't stop within the borders of Missouri State's campus. Through utilization of social media, we managed to reach over 200 likes on Facebook and over 80 followers on Twitter. Additionally, when people share or retweet our facts posted on these social media devices, it is shared throughout the entire Missouri. People all over Missouri and even outside of Missouri's borders come in contact with our campaign.
Okay, Adderall abuse to unprescribed people is not just something that's a problem in Southwest Missouri. As you can see, it's a problem worldwide, not just with Adderall, but with other abused ADHD and ADD medicines. As you can see, the sales and prescriptions given throughout the years have increased immensely around the world. This is interesting because it hints at the increase in amount of ADD and ADHD prescribed medications. In America, those who try are usually able to get a prescription even if they do not have ADD or ADHD because they are aware of the symptoms and are able to fake the symptoms to the doctors so the doctors prescribe them. We actually, in our research, came across an interview from the Today Show, and it was a student, I forgot which university they went to, but he said that getting Adderall on his campus was equivalent to buying a book at the bookstore. So, I mean, it wasn't Missouri State, but it's prevalent in a lot of universities. People of all cultures abuse drugs and ADHD and ADD medications. It is so easy to obtain Adderall. Almost everyone on MSU's campus knows at least one person who they could potentially get Adderall from or someone that abuses Adderall. Because organizations are so diverse, many different cultures are being exposed to the abuse of Adderall.
These are the questions that we asked at our student presentations, and this is the feedback that we got through the Poll Everywhere application that you all used earlier. We asked if the people at our presentation were aware that ADD and ADHD medications were being abused, and 89% said yes, and we asked if anyone had ever taken ADD or ADHD medications without a prescription for themselves, and 39% said yes. We asked, do you know someone who's taken ADD or ADHD medications that were not prescribed to them? And 84% said yes. So that's an indicator of not only the personal experience that they have, but like the people that they know with experience abusing the substances. We asked when people usually take these medications if it's not prescribed to them, and everyone who said that they took it said that it was around finals or midterms times, probably to help them study, which my teammates have said it does not help. It actually decreases your GPA because you aren't able to actually learn the information. You're just holding it until the high of the medicine wears off. And we asked if they believe that it's a moral issue to abuse the medications, and 58% said yes, and almost half said no. We do believe that it's a moral issue, but that's something to take on your own. In completing the presentation, we would like to thank everyone who's had a hand in making our efforts a success, and we would like to invite you to spread the knowledge that you've learned here today. And also, don't forget to stop the pop.